The power of intention, you guys. How you can actually get whatever you want whenever you set your mind to something. So I constantly read on the threads people asking, I have this vision, I have this dream, but how do I get myself to show up to make it happen? Well, there's a lot of I would say really specific steps to have you show up and get exactly what you want out of life. And I'll talk about those today as you guys are joining. Hi, you guys. Say hello. Say good morning. Hi, Michelle Lee. How are you, girl? Hi, Brandy. Morning. Susanna, morning. You guys on Instagram, I see you joining as well. Say hi to me as you're joining. It's good for me to see who you are and what are you drinking. This is 6 a.m. Coffee with Shanda, Monday through Friday. I am not drinking coffee today. You know why? I am on Tracy Campoli's flat belly cleanse. Tracy Campoli's flat belly cleanse. She's awesome. Anyway, I love it. And so I'm doing this shake today. So good. A hemp shake. But anyway, she's fantastic. If you haven't seen her before, you should check her out. Google Tracy Campoli. Anyway, good morning, you guys. Good morning, Crystal Jackson. Good morning, Krista, Susanna, Margaret, Erica, Jasna, Miranda. Awesome, Julie. How many of you guys are first time to seeing me on Coffee with Shanda, or it's been within the last month? Just say hi to me on the thread and say, I just got to know you in the last month, or it's the first time. I love to hear you. Hi from India on Instagram. That's super cool. How are you? Okay, great. So if it is your first time joining, I would love to hear, are you drinking High Burst? I'm not drinking High Burst. I'm drinking a shake today. And the reason why I'm drinking a shake is because I am just cleansing my body. I've done so much IVF and like supplements and things like that trying to get pregnant again that I'm just kind of cleaning my body out again. So I'm doing Tracy Campoli's flat belly. I was going to say flat belly boot camp, but it's not a boot camp. It's actually really easy to do. It's called Flat Belly Detox, and I just love it. I feel so good. It's only 5 days, and it's amazing. So it's a hemp shake this morning with just some strawberries and coconut oil in it and blended in my Vitamixer. Anyway, okay, so thanks for asking. Okay, you guys, so let's chat about this. So I actually wrote a few notes about this, and I was thinking, the power of interpretation. You guys on Instagram, I don't know if you can see this, the power of interpretation. And, here's what this is an interesting conversation for us to have this morning. I find that most people go unconscious. I think we all go unconscious, right? Like Wayne Dyer talked about, there's something like 6,060, there's a lot, I can't remember, it's been so long since I read this, but we have like something like 6,000 separation thoughts a day. And what that means is, I'm going to go after this goal and this dream. Maybe I'm not really that interested in it anymore. I see this often where my clients will say, I'm not passionate anymore. I'm not interested in doing this anymore. And I think we experience that in relationships. I think we experience that in our fitness. I think we experience that in our business. But how loyal are you to your initial, vision or dream? How loyal are you to the people around you? Loyalty is one of my largest, most important values. And I say this let me just share a story without getting into the details of the story. Not only will I see husbands and wives talk crap about each other behind each other's back, which is completely unloyal, but you should not be talking about your partner behind your partner's back. You should be going to your partner and working it out with your partner. Have enough courage and power and strength to actually have the conversation with the person that you love. That's called loyalty. Now in business, I see this where people will start working towards a vision or a dream, and then like a 2x4 will hit them. Like maybe they had a bad sellout, or maybe nobody's buying, or maybe they're making offers and nobody's showing up to talk to them, or you know what I mean? Like they're just not getting any feedback that feels loving. They're getting a lot of feedback for months over months over months that this is not going to work, and then they become unloyal to that original vision, dream, or declaration that they are going to, make something happen in their life. And I'm sure you've seen this before. People will say to you, I'm going to go do X, Y, Z. I'm going to go lose weight. I'm going to go fall in love. I'm going to go have a baby. And I know this sounds crazy, but they declare these things and they're so passionate about it, and then they stop going after it, and then they give a reason, right? Maybe you've done this before. You probably have. How can you get yourself to be the type of person that you say, like I declared to my company 2 years before, actually not even 2 years, it was about a year before having a baby, that we were going to set up the company so that I could have a baby and raise a family. And my head coach was laughing at me because she said, you don't even have a boyfriend at that time. And I was like, we're just going to start acting as if, and we're going to build the company, which takes a major act of faith, because there's hiring that needs to be done. There's things that need to be done before the evidence of the goal showing up, the evidence of the dream showing up. But I really do believe that success loves preparation. And I really do believe that whatever goal you want, the only reason why it's not in your space right now is either because you're in the act of preparing the space for it to come in, or you keep changing your mind. Or you keep changing your mind and other things get more important than that vision or that goal. So, to close the loop on that conversation, we set up the company over the course of a year, and then I went out and I dated like crazy. I changed some of my ambition in my company. I actually cut my ambition in half in the company because I was now having to wear a hat or a role of going out and dating 5 times a week. And by the way, I hated dating. So it's not like I was getting out dating and loving it. I hated dating. But I went 5 days a week. I actually went to the same restaurant 5 days a week and met these people at this restaurant. I think that they might have thought I was a call girl because they literally started sitting me at the same table with my dates, right? Because the guys would ask, well, where do you want to go? And I would say the Brigantine, which was right down the street from my house, considering I was dating so often. So here's why this is important. I hated dating. I still did it anyway. And I adjusted some of the other things in my life to make that a priority. Do you know that I was saying that I wanted to get married and have children since the age of 25? I didn't do it until I was 36 years old. 37, actually. I met Ash, and 90 days later, just over 90 days later, under 4 months, we were pregnant with our son, Zach. And now we're married, and we've had to go through a lot of things to be able to get to this point. But I strongly believe if I didn't know the difference between loyalty and vision and declaring something and sticking with it, I wouldn't be here. Now, let me take that to the business. In the business, I declared that I would make $5,000 a month at the time, and I did it very quickly. Now, I didn't know I could do it. I had no idea. I quit my job, and I went off to build this company that used to be called Hardcore Women. And I made $5,000, and then fast forward, a few years later, I had the dream to become a millionaire, and I knew that the access to becoming a millionaire was my heart being more generous and open, right? Because money is a measurement of how much we give. And so I knew that the access wasn't anything more than me actually becoming more generous and becoming more my ability to serve and not be so stingy. Now, don't get me wrong. I thought I was a really giving, loving person. But the truth is you have in your life what you are willing to give. Let me repeat that. You have in your life what you've been willing to give. And when you're willing to give up being right, when you're willing to give up needing different things that necessarily aren't necessary for you to receive the happiness or the abundance that you want, what happens is when you surrender things forward, you get more of what you want. So what that looks like in a relationship is I like everything in my space really, really particular, right? Like I like things very clean, very particular, very organized. I also liked men that were 6 foot tall, green eyes, athletic, black hair, like Latin, a little bit of dark skin. I love that look. My husband is 5'9" at best. He was, a major triathlete when I met him, so he was super skinny. My point in sharing that with you is I had to surrender all of these things of what it looked like to find the man of my dreams. And I've had to do that to build a business in my dreams. So let me put it back into your space for a second. How loyal are you to your word? Like, how loyal are you to your dream, even when nothing's happening? Like, I never knew that I would marry the man I married. At times, I didn't even know if the relationship was going to work, right? I didn't know if I'd ever become a millionaire. Now multi-millions every year, right? Like, I didn't know I'd have the friends that I have, right? No idea. Most of my friends were a dream, meaning that they were people that wrote books that I read, that I looked up to, and they were a dream. And now they're friends of mine, right? And so I say all this because I just want to be transparent and show you into my life. I was the girl who literally couldn't get up on a stage, and I couldn't stand up in class when I was in school and say my name because I was embarrassed of my name. Like, I was embarrassed in everything that I was. Like, I didn't like my name. I didn't like the way I looked. I didn't like my thighs. I didn't like, there's so many things that I can share with you that I would look at other people and be like, she's prettier than me. She has lips. I have no lips. Like little things like that we compare ourselves to, or that person's rich, so therefore I'm not good enough, or I shouldn't talk to them at events. I wouldn't go up to people that were speaking on stages because of the fact that, like, oh, I don't want to bother them because they already have all these people around them and they must want to relax. Like, I never got that I mattered. And if you don't get that you matter, first of all, you can't make millions of dollars if you don't get that you matter, right? Because you'll never do what it takes to overcome all the unloyal thoughts that you have around abandoning your vision. So, when you're friends with someone and you hear somebody else talk about them behind their back, do you jump into the gossip of it, or do you actually say there must be a communication breakdown, or there must have been something that happened that we're not seeing? My point is loyalty goes all the way across the board everywhere. And if you can actually establish the personality type that you don't gossip, that you don't blame, and that you absolutely stay loyal to the people and the visions that you have, which they're together, meaning that if you can do it with people, you'll be able to do it with your business. You'll be able to do it with your biggest, most amazing, most precious, meaningful visions and goals that you have for your life. But if you cannot stop gossiping, and you cannot stand strong even with bad news coming towards you. Somebody can come to me and tell me my best friend did something horrific to me. And honestly, I would never believe them. And if it did happen, I would know there was some sort of a reason for it. There would be something that happened that was a breakdown, that honestly there was an explanation, right? And so that's what I mean about a depth of loyalty. I mean, they could tell me that my best friend, somebody would come to me and say to me, my best friend was hitting on my husband, and that they saw them holding hands and embracing in the most incredible hug, and they like locked lips and kissed. I mean, it could go to that depth. And I would say, there's something behind it. And that's not me being naive. It's about the depth of my loyalty. And I would go to both of them and have a conversation with them and say, what happened? This is the information that I received. When you can have that level of loyalty, you'll start to realize that most of your emotional triggers are not real. Most of your emotional triggers are not real. I would probably find out that my best friend and my husband were having a deep conversation and went, I love you. Or like something totally innocent that could have looked really bad. But believe me on this, emotional triggers come up in a huge way in areas that you need to strengthen yourself. And whatever big vision or dream you have, it makes it very hard for it to come into your life if you can't handle it. If you can't handle it. And what makes you have the ability to handle it really comes down to your emotional stability. It really comes down to your emotional stability. So I want you to take something away from this morning's Coffee with Shanda, or this morning it's a Shake with Shanda. And that is that be flexible with your moods. Be flexible with your moods. and be like a pit bull for your visions. Be like a pit bull for your visions. Look at your friendships, your relationships, and make sure you are being the bigger person. Look at your vision for your business, or because I'm a business coach, for those of you guys who don't know me, my stand in the world is that money is never a reason why you don't take action in your life. And I will be fierce about that in your life. If there's anything, the number one reason why people hire me is they know that I can help them get there. And that's because I am fierce about telling you what you need to hear in order to get there, right? What are you fierce about on your vision or your dream? And you know what? When I had the vision or dream to be married and have babies at 25, and I didn't do it until I was in my late 30s, really, it was never a priority. So I want to ask you to release the things that are not really a priority for you yet, and allow those to be some days, because they're really not a priority. But get crazy obsessed and clear about what is a priority for you. And then make sure that you're acting in a loyal way towards that vision or your dream. And that doesn't mean that it's only towards that. It means, who do you need to be to make that dream come true? And I am telling you, it is loyalty. Because if you were to ask me the number one thing that I see as a business coach and why more people are not millionaires or financially free, it's because you give up all the time. And that doesn't mean that you've been trying to build a business for the last 10 years and it's still not making money. It means that you've actually changed your strategy so many times. I literally just was with a group of people last night who built this incredible training center inside of a year. And it's like that happened because they had coaches, right? Get great mentors for what you want to do and get them around you, and be obsessed with doing whatever it takes for them to help you build out. Whether it's me, whether it's somebody else, I don't care. What I do care is that you actually become hungry enough to make it happen. And it doesn't typically happen on your own. We need an army of people in our corner to help us succeed. And you, my friend, needs to be loyal. All right, you guys, if you want me to answer a couple questions, I'm happy to do that. Go ahead, and on the thread, you can ask me a couple questions. I'm here at Kim Cruise. Latin lovers are the best. Yes, they are. Although I do have a Persian husband now. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, go ahead and just pop your question in there. Heather on Instagram. Chase the men of our dreams as a biz. Funny, it's your Monday morning message. I need to put this on my agenda. Yes, you do. Awesome. Okay, any questions for me? Loyalty is such a big deal to me. For some reason, I haven't been loyal to me. Geez, okay, thank you for this perspective. Tanya, if you haven't been loyal to you, also look at your giving, right? So if you've been loyal to other people and you've been a giver, make sure that your giving isn't from a space of martyr, right? Martyr means that you give, but somehow you feel like you've either been taken advantage of or other people don't give to you. That's not true giving, right? Like, I give to everyone. And I just know that I get taken care of, because in the Bible it talks about giving your time. You know, it also talks about if there's a homeless person that needs you, that you're not supposed to ever turn them down, no matter what your head says inside, right? Our heads say, oh, they're just going to go get liquor, or they're just going to go get drunk, or they're just going to, go get drugs, or they could go get a job. You know what I mean? And it's like, stop these conversations in your head. Just give, right? So, give every moment that you can. And I'm telling you, you will build a tribe of raving fans everywhere around you that you'll never have to go without in your life, right? You'll make tons of money. You'll have tons of people who promote you. Does that mean everybody will? No, because some people, quite frankly, are takers and they're assholes, and you just have to still give to them too, right? Like, it's about who you're being. A giver doesn't choose who they give to, they just give. So Tanya, make sure that, yes, you're giving to yourself, but also make sure that there's no conversation of martyr underneath, because then guess what? You actually deserve to be taken from, because you're giving with the intention, or you're giving with a ball and chain, which means that you're actually expecting somebody to turn around and give back to you. Okay. Awesome. Hi, Lisa Winston. How are you? Okay, any other questions? Anybody have a question for me? I'm here for just a second longer. Gosh, we have awesome. You're welcome, Tanya. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, you guys. Denise, what was your strategy when you quit your job to build your business? My bills are low, but the idea of quitting freaks me out. Yeah. So I had no back door. I have this belief with everything. When a client comes to me and tells me that they have a really wealthy husband or a comfortable husband, this isn't 100% true all the time. Tracy Campoli came to me and she was a very well-to-do husband, and she grew an incredible company and still grows an incredible company, right? In fact, I'm doing her fat belly detox right now. Flat belly, not fat. So I'm not saying it's 100% of the time true, but I would say 95% of the time it's true that when somebody has some level of comfort, it takes them longer to succeed. So when I quit my job to actually grow my company, it was an integrity thing. I was spending more time in my office and in my car coaching. Forget this, you guys, $50 an hour. Now I coach for upwards from $3,000 to $5,000 a month for private coaching with me, depending on what the level of coaching is. And my point in sharing that with you is that I just couldn't do it anymore. So it actually, Denise, when I quit, it was out of a vision. It wasn't out of necessarily strategy. So the strategy gets developed because of the vision, right? And you know this if you've actually sat down and tried to come up with the perfect plan. Like when my clients ask me for a plan, I'm like, yes, a plan helps, but your vision is more important. Because if your vision is strong enough, you actually will figure out the plan. You will figure out the money to pay a coach to help you. You will figure out how to pay your bills. You will figure out how to sell. You will actually figure it out. This is why often when my mamas have babies, if they're feeling insecure, they will actually start to make the money. They'll get over themselves and make the offers, right? So the vision has to be strong enough and the pain behind you has to be strong enough. And that's different for each of us. So Denise, your company, and I'm not telling you to quit, but your 9 to 5 job may be the reason why your company hasn't grown faster. And only you know that, right? So only you know that. So when your vision gets strong enough, and mine was, I had, first of all, I did a very deep personal development, the same training that we're actually launching inside of my company in January. We're coming up with the dates right now, but I did a very deep personal development training. We're launching this internally in our company in January. And you're welcome to private message me. You guys on Instagram, you can private message me, or on Facebook, you can private message me, and I can give you more details about that. That's not the point of this message. But I did this training, and it transformed my life. And it put me in the driver's seat of my emotional triggers, right? As I was in that training, I developed a vision, and the vision was that I was going to teach online, and that I was going to teach coaching online. And I was going to have this virtual company. I was going to help people all around the world. Look at what I'm doing today. Virtually nobody was coaching virtually online. Everybody was coaching in person. Therapists, coaches, it was all in person. And so I was going to do this virtual thing and coach through conference lines, videos, things like that. I had no idea how I was going to do it. And I developed this company very shortly after. In the process, I also made an incredible amount of money that set up my vision and my dream to happen. So when I quit, it was because this vision was so strong, and I was coaching in the parking lot, coaching in my office, when I should have been doing my 9 to 5 job, and it just wasn't in integrity anymore. Because again, go back to that loyalty piece. I had developed a level of loyalty that was unshakable to my vision and my dream. So if that sounds interesting to you, private message me and I can tell you more about that. But know that, something my best friend told me when I wanted to leave a relationship at one point: when you're ready, you'll know. When you're ready, you'll know. You just will know when it's time. And then you just have to trust that knowing. And then you step forward. Okay? So the strategy is easy. I mean, I can give everybody strategy on how to grow your business. That part's not hard. But the thing that I'm going to try and invoke more in you when I ask you that has to do with your vision. All right, you guys. Instagram, I won't be able to offer this to you tomorrow, but if you go to Heartcore, all one word, business on Facebook and go follow the page, then tomorrow, you guys, on Coffee with Shanda, I'm going to have one of my all-time favorite people ever. His name is Bedros Kaluni. He owns the company Fit Body Boot Camp. He is honestly one of my favorite people. And, not too long ago, I went and did a VIP day with him in his office. He helped me with scaling my company with some really specific things that I could do. He's an incredible businessman, but most of all, he has the most incredible heart. He is the biggest giver I could ever imagine. And I'm always proud of my community for the level that I have led our community to give and the human beings that are part of Hardcore Business. But I will say that his community rallies my community. They get up and they pay for each other to build their companies. He's just an incredible leader. So I know whatever we talk about is going to be transformational. I will be creating a list of questions to ask him tomorrow. It will be at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on my Hardcore Business page. Catch us live. You'll be able to ask us questions. And that's it, you guys. Have a powerful day. Thank you for joining me for 6 a.m. Coffee with Shanda, and I will talk to you soon. Mwah.